I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
Culpy and Chip.
And Ghosty.
Yes, Ghosty. You always do those noises at the beginning of the reviews. It's like that other guy when what does he say? That.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is Flotsam and Jetsam.
I was gonna say the other black guy, but I was like, is that gonna be racist? But then I'm there.
I think you're allowed to be racist because you're black.
I'm not black.
Because I'm black, I think. So I think you're allowed to be racist.
That's why I was like, I'm
sure.
pretty sure I get a pass for that.
Yeah, you've got a hood pass. If
I get and I have a baby that's brown too.
Right.
But the thing is, if you get too comfortable with it, and then sometimes you're not around, and then sometimes I say something, and I can see people squirm, and then I'm like, okay, well, is saying I have a black husband the same as I have a black friend? So it just people just shouldn't be racist or too sensitive. We gotta all work together.
Okay.
So this is a Patreon pick. Guys, I think we are like basically caught up because technically we're doing this one just before it's due because this is due on the 1st.
Right.
So shout out to us.
Yes. Yes, I'm very proud of the way we've been able to knock out the Patreon picks. I'm also very, very proud of the alliances because they've been extremely patient. If you want to jump in on the alliances, you can starts at $1 at the gate for a ticket, and then you will get sucked up very quickly by one of these alliance leaders. This is the core.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, check this out. Where in the world is the village? This is a big homie, Blake.
Yeah.
From Nuclear Reactions.
So we told you guys, if you purchase any of our gear and send us a picture, you will get featured.
So hell y'all!
We are coming through on our promises all around.
So all of you who bought shirts, the pictures are coming in. You'll see them in subsequent videos.
It's so no lie, I love it.
You're talking to your friend, and they're like, "You got people all over the world wearing these shirts." I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty crazy."
Yeah, it was crazy because I was like, I said, "Watch this," and then so I type my name in the shirt, and then I pull it up, and then there's Ultimate Musings on the
Game of Thrones thingamajiggy.
What's that called? Which throne?
The Iron Throne.
The Iron Throne, right. I was like, you see that? I was like, that's my face on that guy in that throne. And then obviously my friend has known me, basically all her life. She's like, this is crazy.
Now you're all famous. All right, so Flotsam and Jetsam, no place for disgrace.
You can be famous too for a small fee. Buy the shirt, send the picture.
All right. Flotsam and Jetsam, let's go. No place for disgrace.
Oh yeah, did you say which group this was?
The call.
Go. I know.
Metallica.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I think this was Becky. Like, our Becky.
Yeah, it's our Becky. I'm sure it's our Becky.
Yeah, because she told me just the other day, she's like, there was a video coming that was one that she was going to make.
She did the lyric video, right?
Yeah, she told me she was making, but we've said a few things since, I'm not sure if
I'm pretty sure it's our Becky. We've got the
yes, that's the one. It's her pick, and she did the video.
Good job, Becky. Really, really, really good job. That was actually one of the few lyric videos where I really didn't have to keep going back and forth between the lyrics and the and the thingamajiggy.
Yeah,
it's right there.
You know what?
People try to make lyric videos too fancy sometimes, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. Yes. But for people who want to see the lyrics, I'm like, oh.
A lot of times I look over there because I need to be able to read it and.
Yeah.
Like, I think that your brain reads ahead and behind at the same time you're reading. And so when you can't do that because it's flipping so fast, I don't know.
I didn't understand what she had said about the, right here when she said...
I've always been intrigued by how someone can have complete control over my mind and body with sheer will.
So I didn't know what she was talking about, but then, of course, they were talking about harikari with the Japanese samurai warriors, so that's what it's talking about.
Yeah.
So, like samurai, it was a whole subculture of these warriors who...
We watched that movie, The Last Samurai.
The Last Samurai.
That was,
everything was about honor.
Yes.
And if you lost a battle, you didn't, you would kill yourself in this ritual called harikari, where you would, and then your buddy would chop your head off or whatever. And, it was better to do that than come home in disgrace, basically, was the idea.
I can't imagine being in that type of a culture. Like, when I watch it, I'm like, wow, there's, like, honor and, like, there's so much. But then, I think, oh, my gosh, like, if you went away to, like, a battle and you lost and then you killed yourself, I'd be so upset because I'd be like, why? Why didn't you just... come home, live to fight another day, babe.
Yeah, now of course you call it tactical regress, which is basically to retreat.
Yeah, tactical regress. It sounds better than retreat. Tactical regress.
It's actually very tactical because you can kill people on the way back to safety. Mm-hmm. So of course now we've kind of the Western mind doesn't operate that way. The Western mind, it's like, live to fight another day, and you'll take. Well,
why would you shrink your army?
You take your lumps and then you come back. But you know, that's one of the major differences between Western thought processes and Eastern thought processes. It's like, there was this one, I think it was Shanghai. I think was the name of the movie. Like my stepdad used to watch all these black and white movies, and there's like a 3-hour long movie about. I think it was called Shanghai. It's a black and white movie, and I remember it was AMC, American Movie Classics, and Mr. Man used to watch it all the time, and I just thought it was so boring. Like, how could you watch a black and white, movie? But the guy was talking about like the confluence of West meeting East, and that whole ritual of how to. That's when I first. Well, actually, it was interesting.
I'm distracted by the corniness of my mind because you just said, "Why would you watch a black and white movie?" And I'm like, these people are watching a black and white reaction video.
Really?
I'm white and black. I told you it was so corny. But then it was distracting me. Okay, go ahead.
You have the amazing habit, like I'm about to say something really existentially, like very important,
and then I'm like, squirrel.
and then you do that. It's amazing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And you're
go
like,
ahead.
how come we don't have deep conversations?
Why can't you relate to me like that?
Yeah. But anyway, the guy was talking about that, and it was crazy because I had this giant book on martial arts because I was obsessed with martial arts, and
how old were you?
4th grade. This was Mrs. I forgot what class I was in, but I rented this book from the library. It was like this thick, and it was on martial arts, and they were talking about the origins of karate and you had the regular guys and the nunchucks and all these were just farming tools. And And so then it got up to Japan and it was talking about the way of the samurai, and like that was crazy to me. Like you couldn't touch a samurai master's sword; they'd kill you. Like they'd kill each other. wound each other, and they were more wounded and deaths in the training than there was in battle. Just crazy stuff. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was around that time but of course the book didn't talk about Harikari. It was just talking about, and I had this big romanticized thing. And so anyway, I'm just doing whatever I do, and he's watching Shanghai. And what happened was they did like a interview or what the history of the movie, and then you watch the movie, and then they were talking about that ritual. And I was like, whoa. So I went to watch. He's like, oh, get out of here, Vin. Get it, because he didn't want me seeing because they showed it in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't want me seeing. He didn't want me to see that. So he's like, get out of here, Vin. I'll tell you about it later. Get out.
Do you think it's because he thought it was too much for you to watch, or
he didn't want
or like you specifically because you're so like extreme? You know what I mean?
Well, my mom was worried about that. He wasn't. He wasn't worried about me being, because my mom, he was fine with me being violent. You know what I mean? Like I was the only one that was like that among my 3 brothers. So he was always like, oh, well, tell me what happened.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like he was good with it. He was from the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, so my older brother wasn't like that, and my younger brother was the baby. So he was okay with me being a little.
I see.
I see. Because I think he was more like that. Although he was very diplomatic, but he could get busy for sure. So anyway, that was my first introduction to it. Then we saw The Last Samurai and all that, and that was a fun movie. But yeah, it's definitely a crazy idea.
Was it Mel Gibson? Was Mel Gibson?
No, it's Tom Cruise. It's Tom Cruise.
Oh, that's right. It was Tom Cruise. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure I said I would have preferred Mel Gibson. I think that's in my head. Okay.
Well,
I just like the way that Mel Gibson, when he acts those,
he acts very well with his eyes. He's a better eye actor than Tom Cruise is, but
yes, you're right. That's right.
Yeah, but for the type of role, you kind of needed a young, flashy American type of thing. I thought Tom Cruise did a really good job with that movie, but. Well, that movie was about the transition from that period of the samurai age to the the modern age where guns got involved and all the rest of it, and there was just no more need for the samurai. It was a sad type of thing, but it's like certain cultures like they overemphasize a certain virtue, and then it becomes a vice. So like the virtue of honor and the virtue of like fighting and not running away, like that's a very good important virtue, because when it doesn't matter like if you're on a battlefield or if you're even if you're in the hood and you got your guys with you, like you need people that are gonna keep going no matter how dangerous it gets. So that sense of honor kind of functions to keep a certain level of honor. Sure. But if you like go overboard, I feel like this is like you're going overboard with the concept of honor. Like you have people at home that love you. Like why would you know what I mean? But
I think that type of mindset makes them fight a certain way.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like I think that you can still have obviously like a honor person and somebody who's like going with all they've got and pride and stuff like that, but like this is a whole nother level, and I don't think that they're thinking I don't want to kill myself so I'm going to fight like hell here. I think it's like a totally different mindset, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's some people that like fight just to they can't get over the adrenaline rush of fighting, and you get addicted to it, and you can't not do it. So I mean, I get it, but like, see, I'm a big honor person, like, especially when it comes to fighting, and I would never do this. I would never do that.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't do it, because it's like, no, because the way we look at it, like, oh, we're gonna regroup and make those people. So if I die, I can't go back and hurt those people.
Right.
So
well, that's what I'm saying.
I would just never do that. But
but do you think if you grew up in this culture?
If I grew up in this. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. Because I think you would. Because
absolutely.
You're a big shame honor person.
Yeah.
But I define shame honor for myself. I don't use external reference points for that.
Yeah, that's true.
But whereas you use external reference points to decide what that is. So if your subculture was like that, you would do that. I wouldn't do that. I would just determine it for myself. Like, no, those people are going to pay for that shit. You know what I mean? I'm more like the Vietnamese. The Vietnamese, they were like, we're going to keep fighting and keep fighting and keep killing you. I don't care if there's a 30-year gap, we're still going to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm more like that. I'm not like, I would never do that because I wouldn't be able to wrap my mind around it logically.
Oh, right.
Because then I feel like I got beat twice. That would mean that means my boys had died. If I lost a battle, that means my boys had died, and now I'm gonna die, and I can't avenge my friends. Like I would just never. I could care less what the prevailing society's like. Oh, you shamefully da da da. I wouldn't care.
That's very true.
I would be driven by.
I feel like you could convince me though, like to go your route and go get vengeance instead.
Well, yeah.
You'd be like, kill yourself after. Let's get vengeance first.
Yeah, or you
then it would convince me not to do it.
Say, okay, if we're outnumbered and we die, then fine. But at least we're avenging our friends, and you can, die in jihad, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm much closer to that mindset than this.
Yeah.
Shit. Like, that's the thing about Muhammad. Muhammad, he was never about this stuff. Muhammad was very, very smart. You could run. You could deny that you were Muslim. You could do all that. Just stay alive. So that we can come get you and you can fight another day. Like he was, and that's why I think like this culture died. It's inherently cannibalistic.
Of course.
It'll cannibalize yourself.
Of course.
Because you're never, ever going to win every battle that you go into.
Right.
It doesn't matter how. Right. Something's going to happen. There are way too many variables.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I've seen people who you would think to yourself, like in the few times when people were like beefing with each other and I could watch and wasn't a participant in New York, I was very, very grateful for it. And you would watch and you'd be like, oh, these dudes are definitely gonna, and something would happen, somebody would slip, something would happen, and the other group got the upper hand and they won that day. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, like you're gonna lose at some point. So if you have this as your mentality, then it's over. Eventually you're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, as a Westerner, to see that type of discipline and that type of dedication, even though it's horrific, you still are like, man, you really believed in what you were doing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like it sounds really weird, but there's a romantic angle to it because it's so like, I feel like it drips of honor, but at the same time doesn't make any sense. Like even looking at this picture, like the way that, he's posing with the knife and the other guy's right behind him to do. But when you think about the details, you're like, wait, somebody needs to stop that man.
Yeah, right. Right. And then I almost think like sometimes people hide weakness and trauma in honor. So for example, American soldiers, I forgot what the number is, but the suicide rate of American soldiers are extremely high. Mm-hmm. So it's a sort of like inverted form of harikari, because usually if you're an American soldier, especially if you're home, that means you won a lot.
Yeah.
That means you won a lot of skirmishes, and yet they're still kind of doing this, ritualistically killing themselves after war. So some of this, I always wonder, like, how much of this is just war trauma, and you don't want to deal with war trauma, and so you've romanticized every soldier's temptation, whether you win or lose. Every soldier that I have ever run into, and even outside of, even guys who are not soldiers per se, but are over there for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
Everybody struggles with that idea.
Wow.
Whether you win or lose. So part of me is like, how much of this is just plain old war trauma? And
it's an interesting thought.
It's a very, very interesting angle.
Yeah.
You're killing yourself because if you don't, I always talk about that book by Robert Grossman on killology, and he was talking about how a soldier needs a society to celebrate the fact that he was just engaged in killing, because it is the most antithetical thing to our nature, whether from a theistic perspective or a Darwinian perspective. It's antithetical to kill your own species.
Right.
And so because of that, you need your prevailing society to tell you did a good thing.
Yeah.
Which is why you have parades and things like that, and medals and things like that. Although, valor device. Usually if somebody got a medal for valor device, it means that they were engaged and they were doing work.
Yep.
It means you killed somebody. But you switch it from, killing to valor. Mm-hmm. And then if somebody sees that, they react to it, then you get the dopamine loop of everybody saying, good job, good job, good job, good job. But if you have a society that doesn't do that, then it's traumatic for the warrior, which is why, guys who came home from World War II, even though they were traumatized, they did better than guys who came home from Vietnam, because there wasn't that. There was, you baby killer, da 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 da. So then you think about these guys. If you had a society that was structured to say, if you lose, it's better if you kill yourself. Well, then it's almost like, how much choice did these guys really have? You know what I mean? Because if you come back and your society, like for example, somebody's like a POW like John McCain, you lost.
Yeah.
But you come back and you're celebrated. And so when a guy like Trump says, I don't like losers or whatever, and makes fun of John McCain, everybody universally says, that's fucked up. You shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Because our society is geared around, hey, even if you lose, if you come back, you're a hero.
Yes.
Right? Well, they don't have that in their society. So how much choice did these guys really have? You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's like, it takes so much out of a person to have to kill and watch their friends die in the first place. You end up wanting to kill yourself anyway.
Right.
But then when your society celebrates a person
and even
who
your
kills
family
himself,
too.
And even, of course.
So it's not like
right. It's the same thing with these terrorists. Like people think, Islam and blood. It's like Islam. There's nothing in Islam that says to go blow yourself up and kill a bunch of civvies. There's nothing in the Quran or the Hadith or whatever that says that. But now what's happened, especially in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, now what's happened is you're celebrating these 17, 18-year-old kids who blow themselves into smithereens because they're under so much oppression.
Whoa. I thought that they get an automatic pass into their version of heaven if they do that.
If you die as a shaheed in jihad.
Yeah.
Yes. But Muhammad specifically said not to go after civvies. You couldn't even cut down trees. Oh. And you couldn't kill priests and stuff in monasteries and things like that. Jihad was, you got a side, they got a side, you go to fight. If you die as a shaheed there, then you skip Judgment Day. That's like fine.
Valhalla.
But you don't go. There was never a thing. Well, let's go kill a bunch of civilians. No. Okay. So that's not Islamic. But what's happening is, it just so happens that there's a bunch of Muslim people who are under a tremendous amount of oppression, and so anytime there's oppression and somebody goes and fights that oppression, you're going to lionize that person. So now there's this whole subculture, especially in places like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, where you see it, where people who do that in a suicidal way get celebrated. Mm-hmm. And then that gets conflated with the religion. It's not the religion. If they were not under, who was doing all the suicide missions during Salahuddin's reign? Nobody was doing that shit because they were not being oppressed. So you don't celebrate stuff like that. But there's utility in celebrating a suicide bomber if you live in a place that's so disproportionately angled towards your enemy, like the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. So sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, it's ideology, and sometimes I'm like, does a soldier become the victim of his overarching culture? Which most of the time the soldier is a victim of his overarching culture. That's obvious. So I don't know. Yeah. But either way, really good song. I'm very, very surprised that all the times we did Metallica and, other thrash bands, that this band didn't come up. Because these guys, in my opinion, are right up there with Metallica. You had like the I think so.
I think that they're right up there, but for me, they're not, like... I heard some stuff in there that kind of sounded like it, but...
Well, I think this guy's obviously a way more dynamic vocalist than James Hetfield. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Hetfield's not going up here as high as this guy is going. So, I don't know. I think they're right up there with Metallica, though. What do you give the song?
I'm actually not going super high because I felt like it was like one of those ones that was going really fast.
Well, it's a thrash song.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
okay. It's an 8.3, I guess, for me. It's
a 9 for me. Very good introduction to Flotsam and Jetsam. I can't believe more people haven't asked for that. Or maybe they have. The name means useless or discarded objects. So there you are.
That's interesting. Okay.
Marine debris washed ashore in Hawaii. Flotsam is defined as debris in the water that was not deliberately thrown overboard, often as a result of a shipwreck and accident. Jetsam describes debris that was deliberately thrown. Okay. That's
weird words. All right.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.